Why, hello everybody, it's Andy here, and today we are talking about Boruto Next Generations. I'm sorry it's been such a long time since I made a video, but life stuff got in the way anyway. That's what we're talking about today, about how the series is holding up to Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. I guess it would be better to compare it to Naruto because this is about the same age of people as Naruto. But yeah, let's get into what I think. This isn't a review of a specific episode, just what I think of the series so far. And I think I'm going to do a full review of whatever would be dubbed as Season 1. What are my overall thoughts? I honestly think the series is pretty damn good. Not as good as Naruto was when it first came out, because honestly, that was like really top quality. And it's not to say that Boruto Next Generations isn't good quality. It's very refined and all this, but it's, I don't know. Once you've seen Naruto, you know, it's like, it's hard to recapture that magic. And at the same time, they're trying to do something different. When it was with Naruto, it was a person who never had parents and was hated by the entire village pretty much. And he had a couple people who cared for him, which really tugged at the heartstrings. Here you've got Boruto, he's an accomplished ninja for his age. Obviously, he has a lot to learn, but for his age group, he is very damn good at being a ninja in terms of power and stuff like that. People sort of belittle him, but they respect him in the sense that he's the 7th Hokage's son and all that, and they respect the fact that he is pretty powerful or skillful, should I say. And it's not like Boruto's an outcast. It's not hard for him to make friends. Shikadai, I think his name is, and Sai's son pretty much latched onto him very quickly. Even after Sai's son was kind of a dick to him, they became friends. And Metal Lee, he became friends with very quickly. With Naruto, it took more time for him to become friends with people, because at first they just thought of him as the weird Nine-Tails boy kind of thing. So yeah, I think the series is good in the sense that also it's taking its own direction. Of course, it's going to hit some of the same beats because it's going through the same thing of starting out as a very low-level ninja, making friends in school, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, there's going to be some repetition. And when people are the sons or daughters of people, they're going to have certain personality traits that are similar, such as focusing on taijutsu, Metal Lee, such as being kind of chubby and enjoying food, Cho-Cho. But I feel like that they're own individual people, because Metal Lee gets very, very nervous, whereas Rock Lee was always like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, damn it. Whereas Metal Lee has very good skills pretty much from the get-go. He just is such a frickin' wimp at times in terms of being nervous about things. As for Shikadai, though, he's pretty much a carbon copy of his dad, with some differences, which I honestly like, because there are instances where, you know, son and father are very similar, and it makes for very comedic situations, like in the one episode where, you know, Shikamaru's wife was hounding out both of them, and then at the same time they're both thinking like, oh, what a drag. That was funny. So, you know, sometimes it's good to have a character that's very, very similar to who their father is, and who their father was in the other series. Also, the opening song in this is pretty good. I mean, it's not the biggest breakthrough, but it's very solid first song. It's better than what Naruto had for its first song. I honestly did not like that one at all. I mean, it had a decent beat and stuff, but just the singer and that corny "come on" was just like, ooh. So yeah, I think it's better in that sense in terms of having a better opening song. But there was one episode where the animation was actually a little bit not so great. I mean, it's never been terrible, but there were times where it was a little sketchy, especially in that fight with the student who got held back a couple times for flunking other subjects other than ninjutsu, or other than, you know, the ninja arts. As for the music, I like how it feels like Naruto in terms of that mix between rock and traditional Japanese. But at the same time, it's its own thing. It's new compositions, stuff like that. which I like. I like that they're not just repeating. I like that they are coming up with their own music for it, but just keeping the same feel of music, because otherwise it wouldn't be something in the Naruto universe. But I do like that, you know, we are getting the old characters, they are getting screen time, but I like that this is ultimately about the new ones, and that it's obviously going to make its own new story. And I can really feel like it's not a carbon copy. It really isn't. It's going a completely different route from the get-go. You know, Naruto started trying to show how sort of vulnerable Naruto was in terms of as a person, and how much people despised him, and then it really focused on, you know, getting people to like him slowly but surely, and about fighting, say, Zabuza. How this one is starting is, you know, Boruto making friends like any normal kid would, and trying to figure out what the hell that purple chakra is, you know. And now it's getting more revealed. I won't say if you haven't watched Boruto yet, but at first it just seems very generic, but it's actually very intriguing now where it is concerning the person who's involved, and I'll leave it at that. And I honestly really enjoy the aspect of Shino being a teacher, because he's not the greatest teacher, but you can really tell he tries, you know. With every episode that goes forward, in my opinion, he becomes a much better teacher, or a better teacher in some regard. Whether it be, you know, conveying his care to the students more, encouraging them to do more things, being more assertive. He still has a long ways to go, but he deeply cares for his students, and that was something nice to see, because, you know, Shino didn't get much screen time in the original Naruto. He got a fair amount, just like anyone else from the other teams in Naruto, but at the same time, he wasn't the main focus. And in this one, he's in pretty much every episode, and it's really cool to see his mindset. Honestly, now, even though he's not perfect, it's really nice to see this human side of Shino, and he's becoming one of my favorite characters now as a matured adult. It's also really cool to see the new versions of people, or like the older versions of people from the original Naruto. Like even, oh man, I forget her name. But the person who in the tuning exams in the forest fought Orochimaru, the woman. Yeah, it was funny to see her, because, you know, she was so skinny and in shape, and now she's like this fat, like 40-year-old, fat like 40-year-old woman. It's just so funny to see the shift, to be honest, of her appearance. But she's pretty much the same person in terms of how she acts. Well, she's a little more cheerful now, which is quite funny. And say Shino's old teacher, seeing her a bit older and consoling him even at that age, was really cool to see, you know. Honestly, Boruto, not as good as Naruto was in the beginning, but I really do think it's really promising. Who knows what the future holds? And especially with that opening scene in the first episode of Boruto Next Generations, I was sold, because whatever happens there when we get to that point is honestly gonna be, whew, it's gonna be cool to see what happens as soon as we get to that arc. My only problem was it felt like they were trying to draw us in some regard, and we kind of got a big spoiler from that in like the beginning of the show, which I guess is fine, but it's still a bit like eh. I mean, right now, if I was forced to give Boruto Next Generations a score, I would give it a B plus, a very high B plus. That could go up to an A as the series evolves and stuff like that. But right now, it's a solid B plus. If you like Naruto, it's very worth your time, in my opinion. It's not just well, obviously they're doing it to rake in the cash, but there is substance to the show. There is a reason for the show. I find it really entertaining and intriguing, and hell, it's more of a universe that I love, so it's hard for me to complain about it. Anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on Boruto Next Generations. So far, definitely worth the watch. Please tell me what you think of Boruto Next Generations in the comments below, and tell me what I'm doing right, tell me what I'm doing wrong. You can subscribe at the little circle button somewhere around the screen here, like down below if you feel so inclined. This has been the Randy Andy Show. You know what to do, and I will see you in the next video.